Hey guys, welcome back to another weekly reading vlog. So it's Monday evening and I'm currently in bed. I normally like to start the vlog when I have a little bit of information to tell you and when I'm more presentable than I am at the moment, but I do like to start my vlogs on Mondays. Yesterday was my birthday, so on Saturday we did something for that, and then Sunday was my actual birthday, and today I've been catching up on all the things I've missed while I've been socializing and actually doing fun stuff. So I am like swamped with candle orders at the minute. I've spent pretty much all day on orders. I've just played a little bit of Fortnite and now it is 11:15 p.m. and I am pretty much getting ready to go to sleep soon. I am going to do a little bit of reading first, so I thought I would let you know what I'm currently reading and where I am up to. So the only book I have on the go at the minute is A Storm of Swords by George R.R. Martin. I'm on page 116. I have not been making a lot of progress in this because over this weekend I haven't had a lot of time for reading, which I kind of knew I wouldn't. This is the third book in the A Song of Ice and Fire series. I am hosting a read along for this series, and Storm of Swords is the book for May and June. The UK editions are split into two parts that are considerably shorter than a Game of Thrones book normally is, so I'm planning on reading one in May and then the second half in June. I'm definitely enjoying this a lot more than I was enjoying Clash of Kings. It's a lot more fast paced already and a lot more interesting things are happening. I did give Clash of Kings 4 stars and I'm hoping that this will be another 5-star like the first book was, and I'm really optimistic about it. For Book or Play, this was my first Book or Play role to read an adult fantasy. So that's all I got for you now. I am going to do just a little bit of reading, maybe half an hour or so, and then I'm going to get some sleep. But I think I will be starting another book to read alongside Storm of Swords tomorrow, so if I do that I will definitely let you know what that is. Hey guys, so I have a couple of things to fill you in on today. The first one is not book related, but I got a new phone, which is really exciting but really sad, and I don't think that this is just a me thing, but I get really attached to my old phone because if you think about it, there is probably not an item in your daily life that you use more than your phone. So by the time your contract period comes up, you and your phone have been through a lot. But essentially I got a text that said that my contract was up, and this is the newest Galaxy phone. It's the S10, and I was going to wait for a little while because I mainly used to upgrade my phone for my camera quality, but now that I have a camera, that's not so much a big deal anymore. But I looked at the deals and it was cheaper to get an S10 than I was paying for my S8. So I bit the bullet, I upgraded. Now I'm kind of sad because I'm using a new phone and not my old one. But that will pass in a couple of days. So now that we are done lamenting the death of my old phone, it's time for a reading update. I am on page 160 of Storm of Swords. I am still really enjoying this. I've just read a Jaime chapter, and in that chapter he is telling us from his perspective about the Mad King. Now this isn't spoilers because Game of Thrones starts out Robert Baratheon is on the phone. No, Robert Baratheon is on the throne, and a big deal is made about the fact that Jaime is a kingslayer. He killed the old king. The Targaryens used to be kings until Robert Baratheon took the throne. And I was really interested in seeing it from Jaime's perspective because Jaime is known as the king killer. But to get his account or memory of the time when he killed the king was really damn interesting. And I just love little bits like this that you don't necessarily get in the show. Like, we know that Jaime killed the king. We have always known since pretty much episode 1 or 2 and a little bit into book 1, you know that Jaime killed the king. But to get it from his perspective and little bits of history from the people that were there when certain things happened really adds some dimension and depth to the world that I really appreciate. So aside from that, I'm still really enjoying this. Not sure if I'm going to read any more today because, like I said, did not do any reading last weekend, so I have some catching up to do. I am aiming to finish 3 books this week, this being one of them, so I have around 400 pages to go, which isn't too bad. But because I know that I never make fast progress in any of the books in this series, I did pick up another book today. So I have started Always and Forever Lara Jean. I did start the audiobook for this, which is on Scribd. However, I don't think that it's the real audiobook. It's a recorded books thing, which Scribd has a lot of, which are audiobooks, but I don't think they're the official ones. I pretty much listened to that because I had to go to the library and run some errands after work, and I wanted to make the most of that time to get a little bit of a head start on reading because I've been really busy this evening. I've done a ton of body butter orders because I have a subscription box order, as well as playing with and setting up my new phone and stuff, so I wanted to kind of maximize the time that I could spend reading, and so I started this in audiobook. I'm not going to continue in audiobook just because I do prefer to read physically. I have this weird thing, like I don't like constant sound directly into my ears. I don't know why, it's just a thing, which is why you don't see me listening to many audiobooks. But if I do find myself in the car on my own again, I will continue with that, but I will be doing most of the reading in this physically. Now, for those of you that don't know, this is the third book in the To All the Boys I've Loved Before series, which was adapted by Netflix last year. And this series starts off with Laura Jean, who writes a letter to all of the boys that she's loved to kind of exercise her feelings for them when she's at the end of a crush. All of those letters get accidentally mailed out and she has to deal with the aftermath of that. Now, I don't really like this series. The first book in this series I gave 3 stars, the second book I gave 2 stars, and it made my worst books list of the year last year. However, I did see this in the library and I do kind of want to just finish the trilogy because there are aspects of this story that I really like. I like Peter Kavinsky and I like the plot. I just don't really like Laura Jean, the main character, or her older sister Margot. Her little sister's fine, her dad's fine, but those two literally drive me insane. So I'm interested to see what I will think of this. I will say that while I was listening to it in the car, like I said, only 21 pages were listened to, but I rolled my eyes 3 times, like physically rolled my eyes whilst driving, because it is just so sickly sweet, and some of it just, it really gets to me, you know, it makes me cringe. So I'm hoping to get to around page 100 of this today. As I said, I did have to go to the library earlier to return some books, and I did pick up a book that I had on hold while I was there, and that is The Sword of Destiny by Andrzej Sapkowski. I thought my time of trying to pronounce this name was at an end. But this is the second book in the Witcher series, which follows Geralt of Rivia, who is a monster hunter or a witcher. And while I gave the first book 2 stars, I do want to continue with this series because the reason that I didn't really like the first book and may not like this one is because they are collections of short stories. However, I have to read them to get into the core series, which is what I'm really interested in. Some of the problems that I had with the first book is that a lot of the names of the monsters or the types of monsters were given without context. For example, Geralt would say, "This is a Strigger that I have to fight," without ever saying what a Strigger was. Now, somebody in my comments of my wrap-up did say that the reason for that is that Andrzej Sapkowski did not necessarily intend to have such a wide reach with his novels, and if you are Polish like Andrzej Sapkowski is, everybody knows what a Strigger is, so that definitely explains some of the problems that I had with the book, and I will definitely bear that in mind when I'm reading this one. So I picked this one up, but I also got something else, even though I shouldn't have. And the other one that I got is Beneath the Sugar Sky by Shauna Maguire. Now, you guys will know that I reread Every Heart a Doorway last month because I didn't love it the way that everybody else seems to love it, so I wanted to give it another try because the first time I listened to it via audiobook, so I thought reading it physically may help. Now, I did give that book 3 stars, and I discovered that I really like Shauna Maguire's writing and I really like the premise. I just did not like that particular book. Because of that, Down Among the Sticks and Bones, which is the second book in the Wayward Children series, is on my May TBR, and while I was in the library and I saw Beneath the Sugar Sky, I thought I may as well pick it up in case I do love Down Among the Sticks and Bones, because if I did, I would have been reserving it anyway. Now, I thought that my library system only had the first 3 books, but I did look at their catalogue and they have ordered in An Absent Dream, so it looks like I will be able to read all of this series. Now, the second book that I'm reading in May follows Jack and Jill in the portal world that they came from, which is like an underworld. I'm not sure what this one is about, but from what I've heard, it seems like somebody comes from a fairyland to Eleanor West's home for wayward children to tell them that they have to stop somebody from dying, because if they don't, this person in the fairyland will never have been born. Now, as portal worlds go, I want to say that I'm more interested in fairylands. I'm not sure. I'm really interested in the premise of the 4th book because that takes place in a logic world and I'm a highly logical person. But this is one of the ones where the premise sounds most interesting because the books in this series are all novellas and they all have very different settings and feels. I think that I will continue reading this series even if I don't love Down Among the Sticks and Bones, in case one of the installments in this series is a hit for me. But I think that is all I have for you guys right now. I really want to do some reading tonight. I'm in a real reading mood because I've spent quite a few days with not a lot of time for reading. However, I do have a little bit of editing to do. I need to make a thumbnail. I need to edit a short video for outside of YouTube. But after that, I am hoping to put my pajamas on, settle down and read. Hey guys, so today is Thursday and you'll have to excuse my outfit because the weather is very cold and it's very grey, so this is what I like to call my homeless chic aesthetic. Also, if I am covered in glitter, it is because I have been making candles again today. I still have so many to do, like seriously, I'm so busy this week, but I'm still managing to find some time to fit a little reading in. So today I have a reading update and also I've done something bad. So for my reading update today, I finished Always and Forever Laura Jean by Jenny Han. Oh, look at that white balance. Well, I'm just gonna have to look like I'm in the dark. Funny thing, actually, when I was filling in my reading spreadsheet earlier, I actually put the author down as Laura Jean. So this book is by Jenny Han. This is the third book in the To All the Boys I've Loved Before trilogy, and I gave this 3 stars. I didn't hate it. So without spoiling the storyline of the 2 books that come before this follows Laura Jean about 1 year after the end of the second book. This book was not intended to be written. The series was going to be a duology, and then Jenny Han decided she wanted to round it off and make it a trilogy, which I'm glad she did because I liked this a lot more than the second book. So in this, Laura Jean is applying for colleges. She has her heart set on UVA, but she has applied to 4 other colleges as well. And while there are a lot of things going on in this book, one of the main storylines is Laura Jean trying to decide what college she should go to, whether she should put her future before her relationship, whether she should pick a college based on her relationship, or whether she should go with her heart, and is her heart on the side of her relationship or her college future. So when I started reading this, like I told you on Tuesday, I was enjoying it. It was okay, and then Margot turned back up. If you don't know, Margot is Laura Jean's older sister, and I can't stand her. She is the most entitled Ravenclaw I have ever read in a book. And in this, I'm pretty sure I already knew this, but in this we find out that Laura Jean is a Hufflepuff, and I think that's one of the reasons why she's not my favorite character. But regardless, I think I enjoyed this book a little bit more because for once Laura Jean's problems seemed very relatable. Like, I'm not so old that I don't remember applying to university, and I had to decide whether I wanted to go to one closer to home and stay with my friend group or to move a little bit further afield. So I found her struggles to be extremely relatable, and I think that she was a lot less naive in this book. I'm not sure of the timeline. I don't know when the first 2 books were published, but I'm not sure if Jenny Han has written any books in between those 2 books and this one, but I do feel like her writing has definitely improved. Once again though, the ending of this is very abrupt. I don't think that Jenny Han writes very good endings. The storyline seems to tie up, and then there's just one chapter that does not feel like the end of a book, and then it just ends. But I definitely enjoyed this one a lot more. I like Laura Jean a lot more. I respected a lot of the decisions that she made. I understood some of the struggles that she was going through, and yeah, I'm very surprised. A lot of people said that they thought that this book was unnecessary and really didn't like it. Personally, I think it's my favorite in the series. So now that I have finished that, I'm going to be pursuing Game of Thrones a little bit more, or Storm of Swords. I can't remember where I was up to when I last updated you. Was I on page 160 or have I read more since then? I don't remember, but currently I am on page 172 of this. I am still really enjoying it. I can't remember what I said about it at the beginning of the vlog, but I'm definitely enjoying some of the character relationships in here. If I did mention it, I definitely would have mentioned Jamie and Brienne, but we also have Arya and Gendry who are traveling together. And I also really like, this is a recurring relationship throughout the book, and it is throughout the show. I like the relationship and the banter between Tyrion and Varys. I really enjoyed them. And what I will say about Varys in the books is he has a wide range of costumes, and all of them are pretty fabulous. So for the rest of today, I am going to be carrying on reading A Storm of Swords. I might also prioritize this and read this throughout tomorrow, but I'm definitely going to be picking up another book over the weekend because I told you that I wanted to read 3 books this week. This was one of them. This is another. I'm not sure if I'll finish this. I have like 400 pages left. And the third one, I will let you know when I pick it up, because if I can fly through this, I may pursue this for a little bit longer and see about the other one. So now for the bad thing that I did today. There is a secondhand bookshop that is around the back of where I work. It's technically in the same building, but you have to go around the back, and they sell very cheap books. They're 80p each, and on my lunch break today I went for a browse because it's only open from 10 till 3:30 and I work 9 till 3:30, so I never get a chance to go unless I nip in when I run an errand for work or if I go on my lunch. So I went in and I was just talking to the guy and I was just passing a bit of time on my lunch break, and I saw Persepolis Rising by S.A. Corey. Now, I have a birthday book haul going up. I'm not sure if it will go up this weekend because I have a few books that I pre-ordered that will be coming in later on in the month, so I don't know whether to wait and do my book haul a little bit later on. But if I have done my book haul, you will have seen that I picked up book 1 in the Expanse series on Saturday when we were in York. I didn't haul them in the vlog because it was my birthday weekend, so I got a lot of books. But I saw this for 80p and I picked it up, and it's book 7 in the Expanse series, and I knew that when I bought it. It's not like it was an accident and I thought, oh, it must be book 2 or 3. I knew that it was book 7. It has a huge 7 on the side, and I bought it anyway. And this is the behavior that I've stopped doing, where I will just pick up any books in a series secondhand. I've never seen anything in this series secondhand before, aside from when I got the first book at the weekend, so I couldn't resist. As for what this is about, I'm not entirely sure. People describe this as a sci-fi Game of Thrones. I know Steffi from the Novelty Corner really likes these books, and I think we're actually going to buddy read book 1 when I get around to it. So I'm guessing that this is a hard sci-fi series that is multi-perspective, and I think the series is going to be 9 books in total, so it is like a big series, but I'm very hyped for this, and I don't know much about the plot, but I'm still very excited to read it. So that's all I've got for you about now. I am going to shower. I was contemplating making a few more candles and working a bit more, but I've pretty much like been working after like my normal job every day this week, and today is the first day of the Fortnite Season 9 Battle Pass. So I've just installed my update. I'm gonna go and shower. I'm gonna play some of that, and then I'm gonna try and get into bed at a reasonable time, seeing as I've stopped working a lot earlier, or a couple of hours earlier than I normally do, because I have had some pretty late nights this week and I just want to chill out. Hello. So I just got home from work and I have an Amazon parcel, which I don't think I bought, so I'll open it here, and if I did buy it, then I guess we won't use this footage. So let's see what it is. Oh, I know what this is. Okay, this makes sense now. This is the Saviour's Champion by Jenna Moreci, which is chunkier than I thought it would, but I won this when Rachel did her To Be Quiz TBR. If you haven't checked those out yet, you should. She premieres her TBRs every month, and she gives you 5 clues for which book she's going to be reading in that month, and the person who guesses the most right in the smallest amount of time wins a book from her TBR. This is one of Rachel's favorite books. I think that it's self-published, and Jenna Moreci is also a YouTube author. So of all the books that Rachel had on her TBR, there were only a handful that I didn't own or have read, so I picked this one, and that is what has arrived today. This is an adult fantasy, but I don't know what it's about, so I'm just gonna read the dust jacket. Okay, so it seems like we have a woman in this book who is the savior of the realm, and our main character doesn't really care that she's the savior. However, he somehow ends up in a tournament with a bunch of other people who are going to fight to win the chance for her hand in marriage, I think. So I'm not sure when I'm going to get to this, but this is one of Rachel's favorite books, like I said, so I'm excited to have it. And also, I can't believe that I actually won her To Be Quiz. I'm rubbish at things like that, but my brain was on fire that day. If you are going to check out Rachel's TBR videos and you do want a chance to win, I would recommend watching a lot of her other videos as well, because I generally have quite a good memory, and as Rachel is one of my close booktube friends, I do watch all of her videos, and that really helped when I was doing the quiz, because while some of the books in there were some that I've read and have loved, a lot of them were ones that I just heard her mention in her video, so I knew what they were through that. So thank you so much, Rachel, for sending me this. So while I'm here, I may as well do a reading update. I don't have anything new and exciting to tell you. I am still currently focusing on Storm of Swords, like I said I would. I'm on page 273 now, so I've read about 110 pages since I checked in with you yesterday. I'm going to try and get to at least page 300 tonight, and then I may pick up another book tomorrow, but like I said yesterday, I will come and check in with you when I do pick up that other book. Hey guys, so hi. Just gonna leave that in. Hey guys, so I just got done filming a video and I thought I would check in with you because something strange happened today. So as you guys know, because I've been banging on about it like all week, I'm extremely busy with orders, etc, etc. So today was going to be a busy day for me. It has been a busy day. I made a ton of candles, I made a batch of body butter, and I still have some things to do. I've been making progress on it throughout the day. But something that happened that was unexpected today is that I started that book that I told you that I was going to start and that I would tell you when I started it. But I also finished it in a day. And I didn't listen to the audiobook, I read this all physically. But that book is Down Among the Sticks and Bones by Shauna Maguire. I think this is my 6th Bookopoly roll because we're jumping around the Bookopoly throughout this month. So this was to read an adult fantasy, and this is the 2nd book in the Wayward Children series. You guys know I didn't really like Every Heart a Doorway too much. I think it was the murder mystery plot that threw me off. I really enjoyed the writing style and I think it started off really strong, but pretty much as soon as that Mr. Murdery. But pretty much as soon as that murder mystery kicked in, I was disinterested. So I was a little nervous about going into this, but I definitely wanted to give it a try because all of the books in this series are companion novels, so they all have very different plot. I gave this book 5 stars and nobody is more shocked than I am. So this is the first prequel in the series, and this follows Jack and Jill, who are twin sisters that are in the first book. And this series as a whole follows children who have been to portal worlds and have had to return home for some reason. The first book takes place in a home for these children where they go or are sent by their parents to rehabilitate. Their parents think that they're sending them there to rid them of their delusions, but Eleanor West, who runs the home, actually has been to a portal world herself and she understands these children perfectly, so she tries to help them out in the best way that she can as they adjust to reality again. So this being the first prequel actually takes place in the portal world, the Moors, that Jack and Jill visited before they ended up in Eleanor West's home in the first book. So this is essentially the story of Jack and Jill's lives. They are born into a middle-class family and their father wants a son and their mother wants a daughter. The reason that they actually want children is to flex to their friends, so their dad can be like, oh, look what a strapping young lad I've got, and their mum can have like a pretty princess daughter. So what they do when Jack and Jill are born and they are sorely disappointed that they have 2 daughters is they assign strong gender roles to each child. They turn Jill into a tomboy and they turn Jack into a perfect little princess. These children are not allowed to express themselves outside of the roles that they have been assigned. Jill is not allowed to wear dresses, Jack is not allowed to get dirty, and because of this Jack does develop OCD because her mother is always shouting at her if she gets any dirt on her clothing. I believe that Shauna Maguire also has OCD, so this is an Own Voices book in that regard, and there is also LGBT rep in here. When I was reading this book I was enjoying it a lot. I thought it would be a 4-star read, but the reason that I bumped it up to 5 is because it is very bittersweet. It has a very bittersweet ending, and while it's not quite angsty, it kind of evokes angsty emotions because of the bittersweet nature of it. Throughout the Wayward Children series we have these themes of home and how all of the children in Eleanor West's Home for Wayward Children think of the portal worlds that they lived in as their true home. They feel very out of place in the real world and the places that they visited were suited perfectly to them. I found this origin story of Jack and Jill really interesting. I kind of wish there was an epilogue at the end of this that followed the end of the first book, because something very important happens to one of the main characters at the end of the first book that does kind of link up to this one. So I kind of wish that would have been wrapped up and made a little bit more cyclical, but aside from that I really loved this, and I really felt for Jack and Jill and how they felt so out of place in their mundane lives and found a home in the Moors. Even though it is a very harsh, very unforgiving world, there are vampires that prey on the villagers and well, a lot of people aren't safe. Yet to them, this was the only home that they had known because of their upbringing. So this was 5 stars. And I loved it. So now I am currently back onto A Storm of Swords. I am up to page 330, so I've read about 27 pages of this today as well. I'm going to carry on reading this for today. The video that I've just filmed you will have already seen by the time my vlog goes up, and that was my Bingoathon TBR. I have decided to take part in Bingoathon because a lot of my Bookopoly books fit the prompts for Bingoathon, and aside from that, because it's been my birthday month, I have hauled a hell of a lot of books and I'm super excited to get to them. And as my TBR this month only requires me to read 95 pages per day, that does give me a little bit of room, so I have mixed Bookopoly books with new books that I've received or bought this month, and I'm actually really excited for it. So like I said, I'm going to pursue this today. Bingoathon does start tomorrow, so I'm not sure whether I am going to carry on with this just for all of tomorrow or whether I will start another book tomorrow, but I will definitely let you know when I come to wrap up the vlog. Hey guys, so I'm in the garden. It's a very lovely day, as you can see from the clear blue skies, and I have just started and finished Children of Wales by Abi Umida. So as I told you guys yesterday, I'm participating in Bingoathon, and because of that I've added a couple of books into my TBR. This is to complete the challenges for Bingoathon, to read a cover by and also to read an anticipated book. I have been eyeing this up in bookstores forever. I keep picking it up and looking at it, but because there is other manga that I own that I haven't read yet, I didn't purchase it. When I went to York last week on my birthday day out, I did decide just to bite the bullet and buy it, and I'm just so eager to get to it that I read it today. So Children of Wales follows a 14-year-old boy called Chikoro. He's the archivist on this floating platform called the Mud Whale, which is a kind of ship that floats along the sea of sand. In this world we have people who are marked and people who are unmarked. The unmarked are normal humans and live a long life, and the marked have powers that are controlled by their emotions, and at around the age of 30 they start to die. So on this island there are approximately 490 marked people and only around 50 unmarked people, and the unmarked people are generally the governors and make up the committee of elders, as they live a lot longer than the marked residents. Occasionally, while they are floating along in the sea of sand, they will encounter another ship or another island, and they will send out people to check what's on there and salvage what they can find. As Chikoro is the archivist, he is selected to be on one of these parties to go to an island that they float past one day, and on it he finds a girl. Now there's a lot of mystery surrounding this girl, as aside from the committee of elders, nobody really knows anything about the outside world, and this girl is from the outside world, and so she has knowledge of what is outside the Mud Whale, but whether she shares it or not will be a different matter. So I really love the art style in this. I'm not sure if I can show you because of how sunny it is, but it's like really intricate, and one of the reasons that I've only just got into manga is because the art style is obviously black and white, which I find is harder to follow because I'm not a very visually stimulated person. I much prefer reading text and looking at pictures, but I thought that the art style in this was beautiful, and that's the reason I wanted to buy it so long ago. I have given this 5 stars. Don't take that review too seriously because this is only the second manga that I have ever read, but I thought it was beautiful and charming. The art style made it really picturesque. I loved the magical elements of the story, and it does have a little bit of brutality in here, which I'm not sure what age range this is. I'm gonna have to look it up. I don't know whether it's young adult or adult, but there is some emotional stuff that goes on in here that I wasn't expecting. Like I said, I'm not very good at reviewing manga because I don't read a whole lot of it, so that's pretty much all I have to say on this. I did buy volume 2 as well, and I'm excited to continue. Whether or not I can fit it into this month is a different matter, but we will see. So it's nearly 2 p.m. now. I am still working on candle stuff intermittently, but I am enjoying the weather and reading some stuff because I love reading in the sun. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and get Storm of Swords and read a couple of chapters of that. Hey guys, so it is Monday today, but I did come on yesterday and wrap up the vlog, but it wasn't great content. I was really tired, so I was really like low energy, and I'd also been out in the sun all day, so my face was really greasy from sun cream, and it's not often that I redo clips, but I thought I would just come back today and redo my vlog wrap up. So the first book that I read for the week was Always and Forever Lara Jean by Jenny Han. I gave this one 3 stars. Still don't love Lara Jean, and these books are very cheesy and too sickly sweet, but there were some very enjoyable parts of this. This was my 3rd Bookopoly roll to read a contemporary or a romance, and this also doubles up for the Asian readathon as it is by a Korean American author. I then read Down Among the Sticks and Bones by Shauna Maguire. I gave this 5 stars and surprised everybody, including myself. This was for my 4th Bookopoly roll, or was it my 6th? I think this was my 6th Bookopoly roll to read a adult fantasy, and I'm surprised by how much I loved this one. And then the final book that I completed was Children of the Whales by Abi Umida. This is a manga. I gave this one 5 stars. I read the entirety of this yesterday. Really loved this. Loved the setting and the plot, and I'm really excited to continue on to volume 2. This was for Bingoathon to read a cover by and an anticipated book. This would also double up for some other Bingoathon prompts, and also for the Asian readathon, as it is by a Japanese author slash illustrator. Aside from that, I made a lot of progress in Storm of Swords by George R.R. Martin. At this point, I have watched the episode and I hated it, just like everybody else did, but I'm on page 397 of this. I'm kind of alright with picking this up, even though I'm sorely disappointed with season 8, or where season 8 is heading of Game of Thrones. This book is really good. It's the best one in the series so far, and I'm really enjoying it, and I am hoping to finish it this week for me. It will be next week's vlog for you guys. Also worth noting, I have also started the anime for Children of Wales. I am 1.5 episodes into it. I'm going to carry on watching the end of the second episode, and then I can't watch any more until I've read more volumes, but it follows the manga really closely, and it is kind of just like reading the manga but like full color, so I'm really liking that at the minute. So my camera battery is flashing at me quite aggressively, so I'm gonna have to head off now. I really hope you enjoyed this week's vlog. Thank you so much for watching, and please don't forget to like this video if you liked it and subscribe if you want to, and I will see you guys next week.
Oh, you bite your friend like chocolate. You say you'll go and nobody knows, with guns hidden under our petticoats. We're never gonna quit it, no, we're never gonna quit it, no.